Life will always present moments when people offend, criticize, or try to bring you down. Maybe it's a hurtful comment, a betrayal, or someone questioning your worth. Your first instinct may be to react, to defend yourself, to set the record straight. But let me tell you, reaction is weakness. Self-control is power. Emotional control is one of the most powerful tools a person can develop in life. The ability to remain calm and composed, even in the face of challenges, determines how far one will go in relationships, career, and personal growth. Many people react impulsively when faced with difficult situations, allowing their emotions to dictate their actions. However, when emotions take control, rational thinking becomes clouded, and poor decisions often follow. True strength does not come from reacting out of frustration or anger, but from maintaining control over one's thoughts and responses, even in the most difficult moments. When someone offends or criticizes you, the natural response may be to react immediately. The instinct to defend oneself is strong, and many believe that responding forcefully will show their strength. But in reality, reacting impulsively does not display strength. It exposes weakness. It shows that other people's words or actions have power over you, that they can influence your emotions and dictate your behavior. Those who master emotional control do not allow the negativity of others to disturb their peace. They understand that not everything requires a response, and sometimes silence is the most powerful reply. In every area of life, emotional control leads to better outcomes. In relationships, arguments often escalate when emotions take over. When two people respond with anger, words are spoken that cannot be taken back. In professional settings, reacting emotionally can damage reputations and limit opportunities. Leaders who remain calm under pressure gain the trust and respect of others. They do not allow temporary frustrations to make permanent decisions. Instead, they step back, assess the situation logically, and respond with wisdom. The person who controls their emotions has the upper hand in any situation. The ability to control emotions does not mean suppressing them. It is natural to feel anger, sadness, or frustration at times. However, the key is to process these emotions without allowing them to dictate actions. Instead of reacting immediately, taking a deep breath and allowing time to think helps prevent regrettable decisions. Practicing patience and self-discipline strengthens emotional control over time. Those who consistently exercise restraint develop an inner strength that others admire. Another reason emotional control is powerful is that it protects peace of mind. When someone insults or mistreats you, you have a choice. You can react and allow their negativity to disturb you, or you can choose to rise above it. Letting emotions take over means surrendering control to external circumstances. But maintaining composure means refusing to let negativity affect your state of mind. This is why emotionally strong people are not easily offended. They do not allow others to dictate how they feel. Instead, they set their own emotional tone and refuse to let anything or anyone pull them down. Moreover, emotional control allows for better decision making. When emotions are in control, decisions are often based on temporary feelings rather than long-term wisdom. Many people regret choices they made in moments of anger or frustration, whether it is saying something hurtful to a loved one, quitting a job out of frustration, or making a rash financial decision. Emotions can lead to actions that create long-term consequences. The ability to pause and reflect before responding ensures that decisions align with goals and values rather than fleeting emotions. In addition, maintaining emotional control commands respect. People are drawn to those who exhibit self-discipline and emotional stability. In leadership, in friendships, and even in daily interactions, those who remain calm in stressful situations gain admiration. They are seen as reliable, wise, and strong. On the other hand, those who frequently react with anger or frustration lose credibility. They appear unpredictable and difficult to trust. Emotional control creates an aura of confidence and security that influences the way others perceive and respond to you. One of the greatest benefits of emotional control is that it helps maintain focus on what truly matters. When emotions dictate behavior, time and energy are wasted on unnecessary conflicts and distractions. However, when a person refuses to let emotions control them, they stay focused on their goals. Instead of being consumed by frustration over minor inconveniences or negative interactions, They redirect their energy toward growth and productivity. This mindset leads to greater achievements and personal fulfillment. Ultimately, emotional control is a form of self-mastery. It is not about denying emotions, but about choosing how to respond to them. Those who learn to regulate their emotions gain freedom from external influences. They become unshaken by the opinions, actions, or negativity of others. By developing the ability to remain calm in every situation, they take control of their lives, relationships, and future. Emotional control is not just a skill, it is a powerful force that separates those who are controlled by life from those who take control of it. Everything in life operates under the law of energy. The thoughts we think, the emotions we feel, and the actions we take all carry energy that influences our experiences. What we put out into the world, we eventually receive back. This principle is at work in every aspect of life, shaping relationships, career paths, and personal growth. Many people go through life unaware of how their own energy attracts circumstances, but those who understand this law realize that they have the power to create a different reality simply by changing the energy they emit. When someone carries positive energy, they naturally attract more positive experiences. Their mindset, words, and behaviors align with growth, success, and opportunities. People are drawn to them because they radiate confidence and optimism. On the other hand, those who consistently dwell in negativity, resentment, or fear often find themselves stuck in cycles of disappointment. It is not because life is unfair, but because they are unknowingly reinforcing their struggles through the energy they project. Thoughts and emotions are not just intangible concepts. They carry a frequency that shapes the external world. Consider the way two different people walk into a room. One enters with joy, speaking with enthusiasm, radiating warmth and kindness. Naturally, they attract conversation, respect, and connection. Another person enters with frustration, complaining, looking irritated. People feel the energy before words are even spoken, and as a result, they react accordingly. This is the law of energy at work. The world does not give randomly. It responds to the vibrations we put out. If someone constantly expects failure, talks about struggle, and surrounds themselves with negativity, they should not be surprised when those experiences continue to appear. But when a person shifts their energy to gratitude, confidence, and determination, life begins to open new doors. Emotions are one of the strongest forces of energy. Fear, anger, and frustration emit a low frequency, while love, peace, and confidence emit a higher one. The more time spent in a certain emotional state, the more that energy is reinforced. This is why people who constantly dwell in bitterness often find themselves stuck in difficult situations. They unknowingly feed the very cycle they want to break. But those who make a conscious effort to shift their energy, to focus on what is going right, to appreciate rather than complain, to respond with patience instead of frustration, begin to notice that life reflects that energy back to them. The law of energy also applies in times of adversity. When faced with setbacks, a person's energy determines how they will move forward. Some allow frustration to consume them, blaming circumstances or others. They react with negativity, which only invites more problems. But those who understand the power of energy recognize that setbacks are temporary. Instead of dwelling on frustration, they shift their energy toward solutions. They maintain faith that new opportunities will arise, and because their energy remains aligned with success, they find a way forward. Every interaction in life is an exchange of energy. This is why it is important to be mindful of the people and environments one allows into their space. Being around negativity can pull even the strongest person down if they are not careful. Just as a healthy person can get sick when surrounded by germs, a person with positive intentions can be drained by the wrong energy. Protecting one's energy means being intentional about the company they keep, the conversations they entertain, and the thoughts they allow to take root in their mind. This principle does not mean ignoring challenges or pretending problems do not exist. It means choosing where to direct focus. There will always be difficulties in life, but the energy given to those difficulties determines how long they will last. Complaining, dwelling on problems, or feeding negativity does not make things better. It only amplifies the struggle. But approaching challenges with the right mindset, maintaining a belief in solutions, and staying aligned with positive action shifts the outcome. The law of energy is always at work. whether a person is aware of it or not. The sooner one understands that their thoughts, words, and emotions create their reality, the sooner they can begin to take control of their life. It is not about luck or chance. It is about alignment. When a person operates from a place of gratitude, faith, and confidence, they naturally attract circumstances that match that frequency. By becoming intentional about the energy they emit, they begin to transform not only their own life, but the world around them. Silence is one of the most powerful tools a person can use in any situation. It has the ability to communicate strength, wisdom, and self-control far more effectively than words ever could. In a world where people feel the need to defend themselves, prove their point, or respond to every criticism, silence stands out as a sign of emotional intelligence and inner confidence. Many misunderstand silence as weakness, but in reality, it requires great strength to remain quiet when emotions urge a reaction. Choosing not to respond to negativity, insults, or provocation is an indication of self-mastery and the ability to rise above the noise. When someone tries to hurt or provoke, the expectation is often an emotional reaction. People who seek to disturb others feed off reactions, hoping to pull them into a cycle of conflict and drama. Responding in anger or frustration only gives them the satisfaction of knowing they succeeded in getting under someone's skin, but when met with silence, they are left with nothing to feed on. They begin to feel powerless because their words or actions did not have the effect they intended. Silence confuses them, making them question their own behavior, and in many cases, it forces them to reflect on the energy they put out. Silence is not about weakness or avoiding confrontation. It is about understanding that not every battle is worth fighting. There are moments when speaking up is necessary, but there are also moments when silence is the best response. When words will not change the situation, when engaging will only escalate negativity, choosing silence allows a person to walk away with dignity. It is a demonstration of self-respect, showing that not everything deserves attention. The ability to remain quiet in the face of negativity is a sign of control over one's emotions rather than being controlled by them. Beyond conflict, silence also speaks in moments of deep understanding. The most profound lessons in life are often learned not through endless discussion, but through observation and reflection. When a person listens more than they speak, they gain insights that others miss. They begin to understand people on a deeper level, recognizing patterns in behavior and learning the true nature of those around them. The ability to remain silent and simply observe often reveals more truth than direct confrontation ever could. Silence also has the power to protect one's peace. Engaging in arguments, defending every action, or feeling the need to explain oneself to those who have already made up their minds is exhausting and unnecessary. There is a certain freedom in knowing that one does not need to explain themselves to everyone, that their value is not determined by how others perceive them. When a person learns to be comfortable in their own silence, they no longer feel the need to seek validation from external sources. Their self-worth is no longer tied to whether or not others understand or agree with them. In relationships, silence can be a way of communicating more than words ever could. Sometimes people argue just to be heard rather than to solve a problem. In these moments, responding with silence can be more effective than engaging in an endless exchange of words. It allows emotions to settle and make space for true understanding. In personal growth, silence is where transformation happens. The moments of stillness, where one sits alone with their thoughts, are often the moments of greatest clarity. It is in silence that a person gains awareness of their true desires, their strengths, and their areas for improvement. There is a reason why the most disciplined individuals, the most successful leaders, and the wisest minds understand the value of silence. They do not waste words on things that do not matter, nor do they allow the emotions of others to dictate their reactions. Instead, they use silence as a tool to observe, to think, to grow. They know that not every situation requires a response, and sometimes the most powerful statement is made by saying nothing at all. The strength of silence lies in its ability to shift energy. It redirects focus from reaction to reflection, from external noise to internal clarity. It creates space for wisdom to emerge, for emotions to settle, and for others to realize the weight of their own words. Silence carries authority. It demands respect. It shows that a person is not ruled by their emotions, but by their wisdom. When used intentionally, silence can be the most powerful response, turning conflict into peace, chaos into clarity, and uncertainty into strength. Hurt people often carry wounds that are unseen but deeply felt. When someone has been broken by past experiences, they may unknowingly project that pain onto others. It is not always intentional, but rather a reflection of the unresolved emotions they carry. Instead of healing from their struggles, they repeat cycles of hurt, sometimes in subtle ways and other times in direct actions. Understanding this truth allows for a greater level of compassion toward those who lash out, manipulate, or treat others unfairly. Their behavior is not always about the people they hurt. It is often about the pain they have not yet processed. Many people move through life carrying the weight of past betrayals, disappointments, and losses. Some have faced childhood trauma, rejection, or abuse. Others have experienced heartbreak, failures, or betrayals from those they trusted. When this pain is not addressed, it begins to shape their worldview, causing them to see life through the lens of their wounds. They may develop patterns of distrust, defensiveness, or aggression, not because they are bad people, but because they are trying to protect themselves from further pain. Instead of healing, they build walls around their hearts, fearing that if they allow themselves to be vulnerable, they will be hurt again. Unhealed wounds can manifest in different ways. Some people become angry and lash out at those around them. They struggle with patience and kindness because their own hearts are burdened with unresolved emotions. Others turn to control, seeking to manipulate situations or people as a way to avoid feeling powerless again. Some withdraw completely, pushing people away before they can get too close. No matter how it manifests, the root issue remains the same: pain that has not been acknowledged or dealt with. Hurt people often hurt others unintentionally. They may say things in the heat of the moment that they later regret. They may react with unnecessary harshness, not because the other person deserves it, but because their own pain is spilling over. This is why relationships, whether romantic, familial, or professional, can become strained when emotional wounds are not addressed. The person on the receiving end of the hurt may take it personally, unaware that the behavior has little to do with them and everything to do with the inner battles the other person is facing. However, just because someone is hurt does not justify hurting others. Understanding why someone acts a certain way does not mean tolerating harmful behavior. There is a fine balance between compassion and setting boundaries. While recognizing that a person's actions may stem from past wounds, it is also important to protect one's own peace. No one should allow themselves to become an emotional punching bag for someone else's unresolved pain. Healing must be a personal decision, and until someone chooses to confront their wounds, they will continue the cycle. Breaking the cycle of hurt requires self-awareness. A person must be willing to look inward and acknowledge the pain they have been carrying. This is not always easy, as it requires facing memories and emotions that may have been suppressed for years. But healing only happens when the root cause is addressed. It requires forgiveness, not just of others, but also of oneself. Many people carry guilt, blaming themselves for things that were never their fault. Letting go of this weight is necessary to move forward. Another key to breaking the cycle is choosing a different response. When someone lashes out, it is easy to react in the same way, but responding with anger only continues the cycle. Choosing patience, empathy, and wisdom allows for a different outcome. This does not mean excusing bad behavior, but understanding that responding in a healthy way can bring awareness to the situation. Sometimes a kind response to a hurtful person can make them realize the impact of their actions. Healing is possible, but it requires effort. It may mean seeking therapy, having honest conversations, or practicing self-reflection. It takes time to unlearn patterns of pain and replace them with healthier ways of relating to others. But when someone commits to the process, they not only free themselves from their past, but they also stop the cycle of passing pain on to others. They learn to respond with wisdom rather than reaction, with love rather than fear, with growth rather than bitterness. In the end, everyone has experienced pain in some form, but not everyone chooses to let that pain define them. Some become bitter, while others use their experiences to grow stronger, kinder, and wiser. The difference lies in the choice to heal rather than project. Hurt people, but healed people heal others. The decision to heal does not just change one person's life, it creates a ripple effect, influencing everyone they encounter. The most powerful transformation happens when someone who was once broken chooses to rise, not just for themselves, but so they no longer pass their pain on to others. In a world that encourages quick reactions, taking a moment to pause before responding is one of the most valuable habits a person can develop. When emotions are high, the impulse to react immediately often leads to regret, misunderstandings, and unnecessary conflicts. Delaying a response allows space for clarity, wisdom, and intentional decision-making. It prevents temporary emotions from shaping permanent outcomes. The ability to pause and think before speaking or acting is a sign of self-mastery and emotional intelligence. When faced with a difficult conversation, an offensive remark, or a stressful situation, the natural instinct is often to react impulsively. This response is driven by emotions rather than logic. Anger, frustration, or fear can cloud judgment, leading to words or actions that may escalate a situation rather than resolve it. But when a person takes a moment to step back, breathe, and assess the situation from a neutral perspective, they gain control over their response rather than being controlled by emotions. This small delay can make the difference between creating more problems and finding the best possible solution. The ability to delay a response is especially powerful in moments of conflict. Whether in personal relationships, the workplace, or social settings, disagreements are inevitable. In these moments, reacting without thinking can damage relationships and create unnecessary tension. A delayed response, however, allows emotions to settle and provides an opportunity to consider the best approach. It shifts the focus from reacting to understanding, from defending to resolving. Instead of saying something hurtful in the heat of the moment, a person who practices patience can choose words that encourage peace and clarity. Delayed responses also lead to better choices when making important life decisions. Many people make decisions based on immediate emotions, only to regret them later. Whether it is quitting a job out of frustration, making an impulsive purchase, or ending a relationship in a moment of anger. Decisions made in haste often lead to consequences that could have been avoided with a little more patience. By taking time to think, gather information, and consider all possible outcomes, one can make choices that align with long-term goals rather than temporary emotions. One of the greatest benefits of delaying a response is gaining perspective. What may seem urgent in the moment often looks different after some time has passed. A comment that felt offensive may not have been intended that way. A stressful situation that seemed overwhelming may have a simple solution upon reflection. A conflict that appeared impossible to resolve may no longer feel as serious after emotions cool down. Delaying a response allows space for these realizations to emerge, preventing unnecessary misunderstandings. Practicing delayed responses does not mean avoiding action altogether. It simply means responding with intention rather than impulse. In many situations, a response is necessary, but the key is ensuring that response is guided by wisdom rather than reaction. It is about recognizing that not every situation requires an immediate answer, and sometimes the best thing to do is wait until the right response becomes clear. In leadership, the ability to delay responses is a trait of strong decision makers. Great leaders understand that rushing into decisions can lead to mistakes, while taking time to assess the situation results in better choices. They practice patience, gather facts, and consider different perspectives before taking action. This ability to pause before responding not only improves their decision-making, but also earns them the trust and respect of those they lead. Delayed responses also improve personal relationships. In moments of disagreement, stepping away from the situation and returning with a calm mind can prevent unnecessary arguments. Taking time to listen, process emotions, and respond thoughtfully creates deeper understanding and connection. Instead of reacting defensively, one can communicate in a way that fosters mutual respect and resolution. The discipline of delaying a response is not always easy, especially in an age of instant gratification. However, those who master it experience less regret, fewer conflicts, and greater control over their lives. They learn to navigate challenges with wisdom rather than emotion, ensuring that their responses lead to positive outcomes rather than unnecessary struggles. When one takes the time to think before responding, they gain the power to shape situations rather than be shaped by them. When people face betrayal, criticism, or mistreatment, the natural response is often to seek revenge. The desire to prove someone wrong, to make them feel the same pain, or to retaliate in some way is a common emotional reaction. But true strength is not found in revenge. It is found in success. The best way to respond to those who doubted, hurt, or underestimated you is not through words, arguments, or retaliation, but through actions that elevate you beyond their reach. Letting your actions be your revenge means using the negativity as fuel to build a better, stronger version of yourself, rather than allowing it to consume you. Many waste their energy trying to prove a point, engaging in conflicts that lead nowhere, or holding on to bitterness that only weighs them down. The time and energy spent trying to hurt someone back could be used to create something meaningful, to grow in ways that silence the critics naturally. The most powerful revenge is not making others suffer. It is showing them that their actions did not break you, that you used their negativity as a stepping stone to something greater. When someone expects you to fail, nothing unsettles them more than watching you rise above their expectations. One of the greatest misconceptions about revenge is that it requires direct confrontation. In reality, the most effective response is no response at all. Instead of wasting words on those who do not believe in you, prove them wrong by your progress. Instead of letting bitterness consume you, channel that energy into discipline, hard work, and self-improvement. Growth and success speak louder than any argument ever could. The people who once mocked, doubted, or abandoned you will have no choice but to watch as you reach heights they never thought possible. Revenge through action is not about proving yourself to others. It is about proving to yourself what you are capable of. Those who allow negativity to control their emotions stay trapped in the past, while those who use it as motivation move forward. Every moment spent dwelling on past hurts is a moment taken away from building a future of strength, wisdom, and success. Life rewards those who focus on progress rather than revenge. The strongest people are those who rise not because of their pain, but in spite of it. Letting your actions be your revenge also means maintaining dignity and self-control. Many people seek to bring others down when they feel wrong, but this only lowers them to the same level as those who hurt them. True power lies in rising above pettiness and letting success be the answer. When you remain focused, disciplined, and determined, you naturally separate yourself from negativity. You become untouchable, no longer swayed by the opinions or actions of others. People who attempt to hurt others often expect a reaction. They expect anger, arguments, or emotional outbursts. But when they are met with silence and progress instead, they lose their power. They realize that their actions did not break you, that you are moving forward regardless of what they did. That realization alone is often more powerful than any words you could have spoken. When you succeed despite the obstacles placed in your way, you leave those who doubted you speechless. Success is the ultimate proof that nothing can hold you back. Whether it is excelling in your career, achieving personal growth, or creating a life of peace and fulfillment, moving forward is the most powerful response to negativity. When people see you thriving, they realize they no longer have control over you. They no longer dictate your emotions, your future, or your worth. There is nothing more satisfying than looking back and realizing that what was meant to break you only made you stronger. The setbacks, the betrayals, and the criticism all became part of your foundation rather than your downfall. Instead of seeking revenge, you sought growth. Instead of wasting time on those who wronged you, you focused on building something greater. That is true victory. When your actions speak for themselves, there is no need for retaliation. Your progress becomes the only response necessary. Your spiritual strength is the foundation that allows a person to rise above emotional weakness. In life, challenges, disappointments, and trials are inevitable, but how one responds to them determines the path forward. Many people allow their emotions to control their decisions, reacting out of anger, fear, or frustration, which often leads to regret. Spiritual strength, however, provides a sense of stability that keeps a person grounded even in the midst of difficulty. It is the difference between being tossed by every wave of emotion and standing firm with a clear sense of direction. Emotional weakness manifests when people are easily swayed by their feelings. When emotions dictate actions, life becomes unpredictable, full of highs and lows that lead to exhaustion. A person controlled by emotions may react impulsively, say things they later regret, or allow fear to stop them from pursuing their goals. They may struggle with resentment, holding on to past wounds that keep them stuck. But spiritual strength brings a higher perspective. It allows one to pause, reflect, and respond wisely rather than react recklessly. One of the greatest benefits of spiritual strength is inner peace. When a person is deeply connected to their spiritual foundation, they are not easily shaken by external circumstances. They understand that setbacks are temporary and that every challenge holds a lesson. They do not waste energy fighting battles that do not matter or getting entangled in conflicts that drain their spirit. Instead, they move with purpose, choosing faith over fear, patience over anger, and wisdom over impulse. They remain steady, knowing that true power comes not from reacting to everything, but from choosing their responses with intention. Spiritual strength also provides resilience. Life will bring disappointments, failed relationships, financial struggles, unexpected losses. Those who rely solely on emotions may become overwhelmed, feeling lost and defeated. But those who draw from spiritual strength understand that every difficulty is an opportunity for growth. They do not give up when things get hard. Instead, they see challenges as stepping stones. They know that perseverance is greater than temporary discomfort and that endurance produces wisdom. People who operate from emotional weakness often seek validation from others. They rely on approval to feel secure, and when that approval is taken away, they feel lost. They may become anxious, trying to please everyone, or deeply discouraged when facing rejection. Spiritual strength, however, brings self-assurance. It teaches that worth is not determined by external opinions, but by inner truth. A spiritually strong person does not need constant reassurance because they know who they are and where they are going. They walk with confidence, knowing that their value does not change based on circumstances. Another sign of spiritual strength is the ability to forgive. Emotional weakness holds on to grudges, allowing resentment to grow. It seeks revenge, wanting others to feel the same pain. But true strength is found in letting go. Forgiveness does not mean excusing wrongs, but it does mean refusing to let anger and bitterness take root. Holding on to resentment only drains energy and prevents growth. A spiritually strong person understands that forgiveness is not for the other person, it is for their own peace. They release the burden of negativity so they can move forward with clarity and freedom. Discipline is another key aspect of spiritual strength. Emotions are fleeting, changing from moment to moment. A person driven by emotions may struggle with consistency, feeling motivated one day and discouraged the next. But spiritual strength creates discipline. It pushes a person to keep going, even when they do not feel like it. It teaches that commitment matters more than momentary emotions, and that progress is built through persistence. Those who rely on spiritual strength do not quit when things become difficult. They stay the course, knowing that lasting success comes from dedication and faith. Patience is also a fruit of spiritual strength. Emotional weakness leads to frustration when things do not happen immediately. It creates anxiety, making people rush decisions and force outcomes. But spiritual strength understands timing. It recognizes that everything unfolds as it should, and rushing only leads to unnecessary struggles. Patience brings peace, allowing a person to trust the process without being consumed by doubt. Ultimately, spiritual strength is about rising above temporary emotions and embracing a greater perspective. It is about making decisions from wisdom rather than impulse, choosing faith over fear, and walking with confidence rather than insecurity. Those who build their lives on spiritual strength remain unshaken in the face of adversity. They do not allow emotions to control them, but instead they master their emotions. In doing so, they find true power, purpose, and peace.